Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm very excited. So the point of this series at the very start of the launch is for those that are at school, perhaps at work, that need a guide to get as much information about the new Legends. So whenever you get home, you have your noob to pro guide. So you don't go out there not knowing what in the world Vantage does. Our goal is to highlight everything that she has or she can do and the limits that she can break. That's the overall goal, and I want you guys to notice all these little nuanced details, because that's what makes the difference between somebody comes in acting like a complete noob versus somebody who's a pro who sits down and really analyzes what a legend can and cannot do. So don't get caught off guard when you're in game. Watch a video like this and really learn. What we're going to do towards the end of the month, I'm going to be playing a lot of Vantage, and I'm going to do an advanced tutorial overall on how to really master her in gameplay. So my goal is to get maybe like a 4K damage game, and we'll highlight it from there. Just as a reminder and highlight throughout the whole video, because I know a lot of people are concerned about this becoming a major scan legend. Just to highlight, there is a ping that players can see when the ultimate, aka the sniper, does hit a target. Vantage can only see armors, but it's up to her to make the call out because the squad cannot see that information. Note also, these scans do not, I repeat, do not go through walls. You have to have line of sight if the target does get hit by the sniper for the ping to appear. Additionally, from what we've been testing in game, that also goes for Vantage in terms of her passive ability. Once they're behind the wall, you no longer can see them. So we'll continue to test, but during this guide, I wanted to highlight that first and foremost at the very start, just to kind of squash the concern of yes, it's a lot of information, but at the same time, it definitely doesn't feel overpowered. What I want to talk about first is going to be her passive ability, which is Spotter's Lens. You aim down sights with a scope. Now, what I've done testing, this is actually going up until a 2x magnification. Then you can actually scout and see the information on an enemy target. What's interesting though, whenever you have a 1x2, it does not do the same thing on a 2x. But what is interesting though, it does work on a 2x4. So essentially the scopes that do not work that give you this information is HCOG, Hollow, and 1x2, as well as a Digi does not give you the information that you need to be able to give the information to your teammates. But what you can do is ADS just normally without a gun out. Let's say, for example, you don't have a sight. So at least you're going to need to get a sight. So this has some synergy with Loba, just as an example, to be able to utilize her to her maximum capabilities. So you're going to need at least to load out with some sort of marksman weapon, whether it's a G7 Scout, 30-30, any one of the snipers outside of the wingman. Unfortunately, when the wingman, I would probably defer more towards like a Sentinel, charge rifle, and longbow DMR. Now, whenever you pull out your ultimate, you'll notice it's very quick. You'll still get that information that has like no target or target. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Sarah here into the test range in just a moment to showcase more of this passive ability for you guys. She's very straightforward in this regard for her passive ability, but I want to highlight what it looks like on screen, as well as the information that gets provided when you change out armor sets. And we're going to have her put on every single armor so you see what that looks like whenever you pick up an enemy opponent within the test range. Sarah's going to help me out looking at the armor portion, so we can see what that looks like on screen, as well what it looks like whenever we hit her with the ultimate ability and how long that pings. So Sarah, if you will, just go and grab an armor. Also, don't forget to subscribe to her channel. Channel will be in the... Oh, look at that. So she grabbed a blue initially. So we see blue. Go ahead and grab yourself a white armor as well. So let's take a look at when the armor swaps there. That's how you're able to tell how many people are in the squad still by the indicator on the upper left. If that changes, I apologize. I'll let you guys know. I'm just going on the test range. So grab yourself a purple. And you can see on the fly if they armor swap. That's actually really important. So if we keep our cursor over and go and grab yourself a red, and it changes over to a red. So what we're going to do now is highlight the ultimate ability and what this looks like whenever you go behind a wall. So if you will, Sarah, let's go over behind this wall and you can peek back and forth to see how long that peeks around the corner. So essentially a free scan, if you will. Let's see what that scan looks like. When she's gone behind the wall, no target. Lifeline, I can see who I'm looking at. So let me take one shot at you. Go behind the wall. Opening fire on our prey. Gone. So the biggest thing, once I take a shot though, is that it does highlight prey's tagged. Take him down. Who I'm focusing on. Ultimate, boom.
Oh yeah, there's a little ping.
Okay, so it does ping, ladies and gentlemen. It does ping towards your teammates and who you're hitting. So if I hit this target, did you see that on your screen as well?
Yes.
Very nice. So there is a noticeable ping. So what we're going to do next, let's talk about her tactical ability, Echo Relocation. So the interesting part about Echo Relocation, but it looks like it's about a 40-meter radius that goes out. I guess I shouldn't say radius. I should say just full-on 360. I apologize for using that incorrectly, that term, but I appreciate your patience with me. So this is a 40-meter full round wherever you want to throw Echo to really, no pun intended, Echo Relocate. Now there's a little bit of height there. which kind of exceeds it, but anywhere you go within that 40 meters is where Echo can really go to. It's very important to really highlight where you want Echo to really go, because whenever you do that, he'll go to higher locations and you can jump off of him afterwards. Now you can recall him as if he was a drone, like a crypto drone. So I recommend that button being very close by. Remember, when Echo is out, Echo cannot be eliminated. Echo cannot be killed in action while you're playing with your squad, but it is a giant beacon knowing that a Vantage could be near the area. Now, whenever you keep spamming this, the thing is you can spam it all day, every day, and point wherever direction you want to go. What you need to do to jump is to hold down your tactical. Now, we hold down the tactical, you can use a double jump, and you can tap strafe just ever so slightly. We'll have to experiment a little more with this, but there is some beauty behind some of her mobility to really help give her, no pun intended, the advantage. So what we're going to do is I can put Echo at a lower location here, and I can really close the gap. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get really far away just to highlight the distance. Now, while you're on zip lines, you notice that it won't let you relocate while you're doing that. You can cancel it, but if you lose LOS, it doesn't do anything. It'll let you know, it's a lost line of sight. Notice how I'm pressing it, but it won't do anything anymore. You can kind of glitch it like you saw there, and I kept doing this for a good while. So if you have LOS, you'll notice that it'll turn this light blue color, and whenever you don't, it'll turn red. So if I try here, it'll say lost LOS, so you're not going to be able to do it. But if you're here, you'll move right over, and afterwards you get the jump. So what we're going to highlight next, what I want to showcase is what happens a little beforehand to see what movement tech that you can provide. We're also going to show what happens if she propels herself towards a wall and what that looks like. So let's say you have, let's see, the movement tech that you can provide with Echo. Pretty far away. Let's go ahead and get that jump. Remember, when she's in the air, she can still be hit. You can't move anywhere from here from the looks, but you can tap strafe just a little bit and go one direction. So that is helpful. Now, I'm going to cut here in just a second. I'm going to put it one side of the map as far away as possible, and I'm going to see how far we can actually push this to where she can jump back in. And we're going to see that distance, and I'll give you that overall distance in just a second. Now, what I found interesting here is that you can plant Echo, but Echo starts to follow you once you exceed that 40-meter range. So I'm going to show you what happens. So you essentially, once you exceed the 40-meter range, Echo will start following a random location. So technically, you can use this to your advantage. If you want to essentially kite Echo away, there's definitely that ability to do so. But just remember that this is a large beacon that really screams that, okay, look, there is a Vantage nearby. So you got to use that information. So essentially, you can try to run away, and it looks like exceed the range as much as possible, but Echo will follow you. So let's say if you were to use a jump pad, I'll test this with Sarah in just a minute, and that could be where some of the synergy comes in. And even without the tap strafe, it's still a little tight there, and I think they did that on purpose just to minimize her mobility while she's in the air. But Echo does chase. I'm going to highlight what happens. We'll use like an ash port in terms of like synergy to see what happens if you exceed the range with Echo and where that goes from there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Echo real quick, and I'm going to see if I can wall bounce effectively off a wall. So I'm going to put Echo here and see if we can use a little bit of movement tech. We're going to jump towards it. And jump, and technically, oh, that might actually work. So let's do this again.
Getting a fresh angle.
So this one's going to take me a little bit more time to really master and learn when it comes to Echo relocation and like the way you fly off. It's really hard to get the wall bounce, and you saw that I was there. Once you land, then yes, you can do it. I feel like you might have the capability to really time this out to potentially do a wall bounce. I think I'm wrong in that regard, but I've definitely been trying to see how you can cheese the movement and then bounce, maybe do a small bounce. I can't seem to propel myself upward, and I've tried this many times already to try to get it going. The cooldown timer isn't necessarily very clear, unfortunately. After being in the test range for a little while, it could be the fact I mentioned this earlier, and I was probably going to cut this out. It could be a bug in terms of timer. I keep seeing that it's just not ready, but then I can use my jump propel and move forward. So I think this is more or less probably a test range bug, and if it's not, it might be a UI change that just might need to happen. It seems like the cooldown that you saw there comes up relatively quickly, and right now it's yellow and it turns blue once you can use Echo. But I think the cooldown timer is a little bit, it's pretty fast. And I don't think that's, look at that. I don't know if that's intentional or not. So you can bounce off the wall, but you can't really do much more off of that. But I think if you can time it really well, you can go into a really nice clean slide and use a little mobility and then go into like a bunny hop as an example. Once you choose a direction where you play with Echo, from my testing so far, you can either tap strafe to the left or to the right. Let's see if I can get the tap strafe. Let's try to do a 180.
Echo's got an angle. Moving there.
It's really hard to do a 180. It just won't let you do it. Maybe with more practice that might be doable. But right now, just from the looks of it, it's pretty hard to time. Let's say what happens whenever you're like mid-air. If you're able to use this, I know we've already tested with the zip line and other things that it just doesn't really work off of. So you kind of have to get really creative and utilize Echo to more the advantage. So yeah, when you're in the air, technically, yes. Once you're in the air, you can use it. So let's say you had an Octane jump pad, that's some pretty good synergy. Let's say Horizon Q, that's pretty strong. Anything that will propel you forward, and even once you're off of a zip line, I guess you can get pretty spicy in terms of maybe baiting an enemy out and really juking them. Here's an example. Let's say you were to jump off the side of the map and you had Echo up here. Sometimes it might be better just to call Echo, but you got to make sure they're close by. I do this with the Loba tactical, by the way. If you jump off, but remember you gotta have LOS, and if you lose it, well, you're gonna fall all the way off. But that might be some advanced movement tech to kind of think about if somebody's chasing you, and how to essentially bait them. You just gotta make sure that you have the LOS. So essentially you need to charge already. Oh man, you gotta time it really, really well there to really get it. But if you can really time it, understand it, and that's gonna come more with the advanced tutorial. I just want you guys to start thinking outside the box in terms of like the guide and what's doable and what's not. So if you time it, then go, then boom. And then you use your jump. You can hold there, by the way. I know the whole time I've been highlighting that you can use the jump. You don't have to use the double jump, essentially. But those are all the details that I have in terms right now for Echo relocation. You know, you can recall. I definitely recommend recalling him very consistently and not throwing him out all the time, just because the fact that Echo will chase you around, and it's just like a big beacon saying, hey, there's a team here, and you definitely don't want that. So if you're trying to work your way in and you got to cross an open field, this is a good way to do it. Look at that. As you fly forward, you can still tap strafe and kind of move around from there. All right, as we wrap up here at the very end, let's talk about her ultimate ability. It's very quick in terms of pulling out a new weapon. You can put it away, you can pull it out again, put it away, pull out your ultimate weapon again, which is a very nice seamless experience there. It does 75 initially to the head and does 150 as a follow-up shot, and the reason why it does that is because of the custom rifle also adds bonus damage for you and your teammate. I believe that this is 15%. Based on my numbers, it's not mentioned in-game, oddly. I'm not sure why that's not mentioned that the bonus number is, but I've seen it in notes. I'm going to go based off of 15% right now. Comment down below if you've seen anything otherwise, but from everything that I've seen, I believe that's the number that we've got. Now, the interesting part is that you can blast away all this ammo. You can even only have one bullet left, and it does recharge. So you take your shot, you see the bullets on the right and how much you have remaining. This does a pretty sizable amount of damage from what you see there. And once the bullet is back, you'll know that it's back. And it comes back on a pretty fast timer. So we look there, and you'll notice that the percentage is going up pretty substantially. I want to highlight what happens, though, whenever you use an ult accelerate. And once it hits 40% here in just a second, you're going to see 40, I believe it's 40% whenever you get your first bullet. Or else it takes a little longer. I guess it's going to take a little longer then. So I guess whenever you land, you have, it looks like if we were to time this out, and I'll time this out for you while we talk about some of her abilities. Her ultimate ability looks like it comes about 40 seconds from the timer that I put. 40 seconds. It was around 38, but I did hit the second probably 2 seconds later. So 40 seconds of getting the first bullet. Now if we keep waiting, I'm going to jump cut again just so we can see the timing. I do have a timer that I'm looking at on my phone right now, seeing how long it takes until the next bullet does appear. So I'm going to jump cut to that, and I'll let you guys know. It's a bullet every 40 seconds. So it looks like no matter what, it is a bullet every 40 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to get free that applies bonus damage when you're hitting a target. It's very effective. I know that it doesn't seem like it's very strong, and you notice the indicator, look at that, of like who you're focused. We'll take a look. I'll have Sarah confirm from her POV once you're hitting a target what that does and how that pings for your friendlies and opponents. Let's look a look at an ultimate accelerant, how much that does charge her ultimate ability. So we have that information available for you. That gives 2 bullets. So every ultimate accelerant gives 2 bullets. Technically, that is a nice way to get your ammo capacity back. But the downside, though, that I'm already finding is that you can't use it. Oh, there we go. You can't press V. You have to go into your inventory and press the button afterwards, which is kind of strange. I mean, it makes sense because when you press V, you're pulling out your ultimate, but you can't just press V when it's empty. You have to go to the inventory and then press it manually. So that's another little tip for you, because I just discovered that one myself just here on the fly. But at least you have that indicator, very, very clean. Let's take a look at the bullet drop. If I try to shoot a target a mile away, by the way, this is a 3 times to 8 times magnification. Let's take a look at the drop. It does definitely have substantial drop there. So when I'm here, it's about the second reticle in for a headshot right there. And there is targets all the way in the back of the map, just FYI. Now, if we take a look at this sniper versus, let's say, since that is an 8 times magnification, let's look at the charge rifle. Actually, let's go with the longbow, and we'll put an 8 times magnification there. So you can see that drop comparison for these two guns. So this is approximately where we're at. So let's take a look at the second reticle. There's a little bit more drop. That's around the same. If we pull out the sniper here, boom. And then we zoom into the 8, so around the second. There's less drop. There should be less drop on this gun overall, so it should be a little bit easier, and the bullet velocity seems to be, it's pretty fast. You would have to test a little more on some targets, but that is definitely a little bit faster, and the transition between going from this gun to the other is a little bit more seamless overall. So pretty solid there. Again, this is Vantage. This is a first look, noob to pro look overall in Vantage. Pretty straightforward, her kit. She really provides a utility. She can still scan a beacon, so that's very important. She provides a utility to her squad, which is information and target prioritization, while able to keep up with the squad. So the very powerful utility. Just remember tips to remove Echo when you're traversing, unless you're using it to make an aggressive push and the team already knows that you're pushing. But Echo can really not be a service to you, but also can be a very big benefit because he is going to chase. So just remember to always recall or move him in and out depending on how you're going to use Echo. Again, I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Lots of new content here on the channel today, and I appreciate all of you. And we're going to have a live stream tonight where we play specifically Vantage, and I'm also going to make sure, again, that we follow up with a very detailed tutorial and advanced tutorial overall. Just getting your mind spinning so you don't feel like a noob when you're out there. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.